turning the cheek at the right time and just kind of showing Florida that they're the actual team in terms of the Leafs are the actual team that Florida has to deal with physically, not the other way around. Good morning, Leaf fans. How's everyone doing this morning? And to all other fans that watch, thanks for joining me. I'm G-Man. This is player to be named later. There's a lot to get into, obviously, right now. Topic number one, it's game one of the second round between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Florida Panthers. A great start to the round for the Leafs. They really played, at least to me, I've been watching this version of the team since Austin's first year, since, Willie came before that, Mitch, the entire era pretty much. And I can honestly say I can't remember a first period or a game where they looked that good throughout the entire game. And in one that means so much. That first game against a team like Florida, the defending champs, a team that's beaten you in the playoffs in the past, that was really important. I know what everyone is talking about right now, obviously, is the hit on Anthony Stolarz by Sam Bennett. There's a lot that goes into that, especially everyone knows the way Sam Bennett plays. He's done this before. He plays accidentally on purpose hockey. He's done it to Matthew Knies in Matthew Knies' rookie year. No penalty. He did it last season to his now teammate Brad Marchand when he was still obviously in Boston. Did the same thing to him, headshot, acted like he was just reacting. Now he's done it for a third time, and I know he's done it previously as well. The thing is, though, this might be an unpopular opinion, and I really thought about it. I thought someone just needs to lay out Sam Bennett, and I don't really think that's the answer. I think the answer is exactly how the Leafs played last night. And Craig Berube has this team. We've said it all season. A lot of Leaf fans, they look different. A lot of fans and Leafs Nation has probably said this in the past, just hoping to believe it, hoping that Sheldon Keefe would have them playing a different way. But either in the past, they've tried to force the physicality too much or turn the cheek too much. It was never a good balance. And if you really look at that game last night, they laid out a lot of Florida Panthers, probably more than the other way. I know the stat was, I think Florida had 51 hits and Toronto had 24. If that is the actual case, then all 24 of those hits were high impact compared to what Florida laid out. I can only remember one solid hit by Florida, and that was Kulikov hitting Holmberg as he got to the front of the net. But when you think about the hits that the Leafs laid out, they got Sasha Barkov, they got Seth Jones, they got Tkachuk. There was a few hits that they laid out. Jake McCabe really laid into Nate Schmidt, I think it was. So there were some good hits. And I think that's just how the Leafs have to continue playing, is bringing that physicality and then turning the cheek at the right time and just kind of showing Florida that they're the actual team in terms of the Leafs are the actual team that Florida has to deal with physically, not the other way around. That's how you stand up to them. When you look back at Florida's first round series, they really got into Tampa's head after Hagel hit Barkov. Once Hagel hit Barkov, it was free reign for Florida to play their game and to keep Tampa on edge. Like, what Florida wants now is for the Leafs to respond, and then they'll have them exactly where they want, with their head on a swivel, not paying attention to details. But what the Leafs have to do is play the exact same game they played last night. Physical, body checks, win puck battles, do all the right things, those right things. And when Florida comes back, they're out of their game. You saw Tkachuk at the end of the game trying to spear Mitch Marner and then wax him on the ankles, wax him on the calves. Like, it's just how they play. And now what they want from the Leafs, because they thrive in that chaos, they want the Leafs head on a swivel, not paying attention to details, looking to, probably lay out Sam Bennett. Sure, lay the guy out, but do it in the course of the game. Keep playing that physical game. Maybe take it up maybe a notch, but not to the point where you're taking dumb penalties, you're putting Florida on the power play. That's exactly what they want. What the Leafs need to do is take that energy. They've never had a goalie tandem like that. They all believe in Joe Wall, as do I. He did a great job during the season when Anthony Stolarz was hurt. He had 27 wins on the year, I believe it was. Did a great job. And even last night, that was such a tough position to be put in. Hadn't played in 2 weeks. Didn't even take a warm up and stopped 17 of 20 shots. And I thought out of the 3 goals he let in, it was just really one that, was probably a bad goal. And that was, I believe, the second goal. The Bennett goal was like a double tip, the one at the end. And the first one was a lost assignment on the back checking by the Leafs. So keep playing your game, Leafs. I thought that was such a solid start. Jump on them early. And you know what? Florida's going to be the one with their head on a swivel right now, because what they'll be looking for is for the Leafs to take a run at someone, to lay out someone. And yeah, the Leafs should do it, but do it in the course of the game, during a puck battle. When a guy lays off a puck and you can get him without taking a penalty, just keep that energy up. And obviously loved Willie's game last night. The top six looked great. A big worry for the Leafs going into the playoffs was obviously secondary scoring. Everyone thought and was hoping it would come from the bottom six. And, they have had some timely goals. Obviously, Max Pacioretty has proven that PTO. They've obviously had production from Max Domi. Fortunately, Bobby McMahon hasn't hit the score sheet yet, but it's only a matter of time, in the playoffs. It's not like he has to score every game, every other game. Have maybe one impact goal or, two, but get on the score sheet, Bobby Mack. Do your thing. Keep going to the net. I loved how the Leafs are getting into those dirty areas. You look at the goals they scored yesterday. The first goal, Willie coming down the right wing and dumps it at the net, picks his spot, boom. He gets a perfect shot right through the 5-hole of Bobrovsky, because he has a net front presence there by John Tavares screening the shot. The Leafs just need to keep doing the same things, playing in those tough areas. Then you look at Willie's second goal, a shot, throw it on net by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Willie gets the rebound, another goal right there. So the Leafs just, keep playing that game. Berube is pulling all the right strings right now. He took a timeout after those 2 quick goals in the third period. I thought it was great. He wasn't thinking about end of game, need to save my timeout. He just believed that was the right time to call it, and it absolutely was. You saw again, this team didn't unravel. In past seasons, that would be a huge thing for the Leafs. Giving up those 2 goals, I was exactly probably like 90%, 95% of Leafs Nation last night when it got to 4-3. We've seen this show before. Everyone remembers 2013. Everyone remembers all, the number of series the Leafs just unraveled and folded when things got tough. And I thought yesterday that's the complete opposite. And they've been playing like that throughout the playoffs, throughout most of the season. Sure, there were nights where they just kind of folded and gave in, but not many. I think there were games that didn't mean much, and they did that. And Berube really came out and got on them about that, and it shows. They really have a good squad right now of veterans, and not many young guys other than Nyes and Bobby Mack, obviously. But this is a veteran squad now, and they didn't unravel at the toughest of times last night, and they just have to keep that going. So a great start to the series. Again, keep playing that game. I know, Leafs Nation probably wants Sam Bennett's head on a stick right now. I read this morning that he's not getting punished. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with Stolar's next game moving forward in the series. And who knows, that shot by Reinhart in the first series that caught Stolar's directly in the chin and knocked his mask off, that could have had something to do with it. But obviously, Sam Bennett knew what he was doing when he took the puck to the net there. Against Stolarz in the second period. But yeah, once again, I think the main thing is that the Leafs know their game now. They know what they need to do to really put this team on their heels, meaning Florida. But Florida's, they've been to the Cup twice now in back-to-back seasons, one obviously last season. And there's a reason for that. And Paul Maurice is going to have them. Who knows? They might change up the game, but I really feel like they'll have their head on a swivel looking out for the Leafs' retribution. And I just think the Leafs should play the same game and catch them off guard. And as they do that, Florida will continue to unravel themselves. They'll probably try and pull the Leafs into a situation where they try and get on the power play, and that's where they can really take advantage. Because when you think of their scoring ability, they really try and muscle teams. But when you think about 5-on-5 and actually having to beat the Leafs, I think the Leafs have them right now with their top six compared to the kind of grinders that Florida wins with. So tomorrow night will be another battle, as the entire series will be. But the Leafs, stay on their game, kind of move in silence. They, like I said, they dished out some heavy hits last night, turned the cheek when they had to, pulled Florida into some penalties, which the Leafs didn't really take full advantage of, obviously. But I think whether the Leafs score on the power play or not, they're pulling Florida out of their game. Because I think what Florida really wants, like I've been saying throughout this video, is they want the other team to have their head on a swivel and worry about what Florida's retribution is going to be. The Leafs don't need to do that. Just keep at it. Great game one to start the series off. It's 1-0. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Leafs Nation, again, shout out to everyone. Try not to stress too much. Try not to celebrate this win too much, because obviously it's going to be a long playoffs and a long series. We really hope this is here. Let's see what happens, but this team is looking good, and I loved how they looked last night. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone continues to watch the videos. Catch me on YouTube and TikTok. We'll see you again on the next video. Have a good one.